Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us. Today we're going to be looking at something that I think a lot of you are interested in, and that's the future of AI in the US,
Yes.
particularly how it connects with immigration.
Yeah.
The source material we're looking at today is an article from the AI Journal called Harnessing Global Talent: How Immigration Shapes the Future of AI in the US.
Mm-hmm.
So very timely.
Very much so.
Obviously, AI is a huge topic, and
Totally.
the U.S. wants to stay on top. But can we do it without global talent? I mean, that's really what we're going to be looking at today.
That's the big question.
Yeah. So to kind of get started, I think I want to throw out a stat that I think is pretty surprising.
Okay.
In 2020, U.S. AI startups received 64%
Wow.
of global AI funding.
That's huge.
That's $23.6 billion,
Yeah.
according to Stanford's AI Index.
It's remarkable. And it really speaks to the fact that
It's a lot of money.
it is a lot of money.
Yeah, and I think, we often hear about America's dominance in AI, but is it really built on immigrant talent? I think that's a question we need to ask ourselves.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And it's not an accident,
Yeah.
right? This success that we're seeing has been decades in the making. And a key ingredient has always been this idea of attracting global talent and making the U.S. a place where these brilliant minds want to come and work and innovate.
Yeah. And, we celebrate Silicon Valley and all this ingenuity,
Right.
but how much of that is really fueled by people who came from all over the world?
Exactly. And that diversity of thought that you get from having people from different backgrounds, different experiences, it's invaluable.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's definitely something I think about, but I think we need to acknowledge that while the U.S. has enjoyed this dominant position,
Yeah.
it is being challenged.
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about that. The competition is heating up.
So who are we talking about who's challenging the U.S.?
Well, the main contender right now is China.
Oh, wow.
They are investing heavily in AI research and development. They're graduating more STEM PhDs than the U.S., and they're very strategically positioning themselves to potentially overtake the U.S. as the global leader in AI.
So what would it mean for the U.S. if we lost that top spot? I mean, beyond just the economic impact, what about our influence globally and our technological advancements?
Well, the implications are huge. Leadership in AI could translate to leadership in pretty much every other sector imaginable.
Yeah,
Healthcare, finance, defense, you name it.
absolutely.
But here's the thing. The U.S. isn't just facing pressure from external competitors. We've got some pretty significant internal challenges as well.
Internal challenges. What do you mean by that?
Well, let's talk about immigration policies for a second, specifically the H1B Visa Program.
Yeah.
This is the primary pathway for skilled workers
Right.
that the AI industry desperately needs.
Okay.
But there's a problem.
What's that?
There's an annual cap of just 85,000 visas.
85,000. That seems like a really small number,
It is a tiny number for a country as big and as powerful as the U.S.,
especially for this booming industry that everyone wants to be in.
especially for AI.
Yeah.
And to make matters worse, that cap hasn't been updated since 2005.
Wow.
So you've got this incredibly dynamic industry fighting over this limited pool of talent.
That sounds frustrating for everyone involved.
Oh, it is incredibly frustrating for the companies who are trying to recruit the best and the brightest. And it's frustrating for those individuals who want to come here and contribute their skills.
Right. You have this amazing candidate, but you can't bring them on board.
Exactly. It's a missed opportunity.
And then on the other side, you have all this global talent that's just stuck in limbo,
Yeah.
unable to pursue their careers here in the U.S.
A lose-lose situation.
So it's not just the cap, though, right? The article also mentions that the uncertainty surrounding these immigration policies is a big issue.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Even if you manage to secure one of those limited H-1B visas, there's no guarantee of stability.
Yeah.
The rules are constantly changing. The policies are shifting. It makes it incredibly risky for people to plan their lives and their careers here.
I can imagine.
In fact, there was a survey in 2019 that found that something like 65% of employers were struggling to recruit skilled foreign workers because of these visa issues.
So it's almost like we're saying, yeah, come here, but we're not going to make it easy.
It's a mixed message, for sure.
So are there other countries who are maybe capitalizing on this?
Well, while the U.S. is dealing with all this uncertainty,
Yeah.
other countries are stepping up and trying to attract this global talent.
Okay.
Canada is a great example.
Okay.
We've created a fast-track program specifically designed for highly skilled tech workers,
Oh, wow.
including those in AI. It's called the Global Talent Stream, and it sends a really clear message that Canada is open for business and they're actively seeking the world's best and brightest.
So what makes this program so attractive?
Well, for one thing, it's the speed and efficiency of the application process
Okay.
compared to the H-1B process, which could take months or even
Mm.
years. Canada's global talent stream aims to process applications within 2 weeks.
Wow, that's
So you
incredible.
can imagine how appealing that is for both employers and skilled workers.
So we have this limited cap in
Huh?
this complex process, and then you have Canada offering this clear and efficient path.
Yeah, it's a pretty stark contrast.
So if you were a top AI researcher right now, where would you choose to go?
It's a tough question,
Yeah.
but I think a lot of people would be looking at Canada pretty seriously.
Yeah, it seems like they're positioning themselves as a real alternative.
Absolutely.
Mm.
They're recognizing the global nature of this talent pool
Yeah.
and adapting their policies to attract the best and the brightest.
So let's shift gears a little bit and
That's
talk
a
about some of the amazing success stories
yeah.
of immigrants who have made such a big impact on U.S. AI.
Absolutely. Because despite all the challenges that we've been talking about,
Right.
there are some incredible examples of individuals who have thrived here.
Yeah. I mean, there's Sundar Pichai, an immigrant from India,
Hmm.
who now leads Google's AI efforts.
Yeah, I mean, think about the impact he's had Google Assistant.
Right.
All those groundbreaking machine learning algorithms.
Sure.
Millions of people are using those technologies every day.
And then there's Fei Lai, originally from China, who revolutionized computer vision with her work on ImageNet.
Oh, internet was a game changer.
Yeah, can you explain what ImageNet is for our listeners who might not be familiar with it?
Sure. So imagine you want to teach a computer to see.
Okay.
To do that, you need a massive amount of data, millions of labeled images that the computer can learn from.
Right.
And that's essentially what an ImageNet is, this huge visual database that really fueled the development of deep learning algorithms. And it's led to these incredible advances in image recognition, object detection, all sorts of computer vision applications.
It's amazing how one project can have such a huge impact.
It really is. And it's important to remember that ImageNet wouldn't exist without the vision and the leadership of an immigrant researcher.
Yeah, and then there's Andrew Ng, born in the UK to parents from Hong Kong, who's made AI education accessible to millions through Coursera and deeplearning.ai.
He's really democratizing knowledge
Right.
and empowering this new generation of AI enthusiasts.
These are just a few examples.
If you have any.
But the article also points out that immigrant founders are behind some of the most successful AI-driven companies.
Absolutely.
Like Lyft, the ride-sharing platform,
Right.
and UiPath, which is a leader in robotic process automation.
And for those who don't know, robotic process automation is basically using software robots to automate these really repetitive tasks.
Okay.
Which frees up human workers to focus on more strategic work.
So using AI to increase efficiency.
Exactly.
Yeah, and again, an immigrant founder at the helm of a company that's pushing the boundaries of AI.
It's a pattern.
Yeah.
The data from the National Foundation for American Policy shows that a huge number of these AI-centric companies in the U.S.
Yeah.
have immigrant founders.
So it seems like immigrant talent is really driving innovation in this field.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and I think it's important to also remember the author of our source article, Vasanthan Ramakrishnan,
Right.
who himself is an immigrant
Yeah.
and has personally navigated the U.S. immigration system
Mhm.
while making all these contributions to the AI field.
It's one thing to read about this stuff in the abstract, but it's another to hear from someone who's actually lived it.
Right. It really personalizes the issue.
Absolutely. It reminds us that these policies have real-world consequences on people's lives and careers.
And his story really shows the incredible potential that immigrants bring to the table.
For sure. And it's not just about technical expertise either.
Right.
He's also founded organizations that bridge technology, human rights, and immigrant communities.
So it's really using his skills for social good.
Exactly. It's a reminder that AI development isn't just about algorithms and code.
Right.
It's about people.
It's about the impact it has on society.
Exactly.
So we've explored some of the challenges, we've highlighted some of the successes, and we've heard the personal stories. So let's shift gears and talk about solutions.
Okay.
What can be done to keep the U.S. at the forefront of AI innovation?
Well, the article outlines a few key strategies, and they all revolve around creating a more streamlined and supportive immigration system. A system that really acknowledges the value of global talent
Right.
and makes it easier for skilled professionals to contribute their skills to the U.S. economy.
So what are some specific steps that we can take?
Well, reforming the H-1B Visa Program is a top priority.
Okay.
Remember that cap of 85,000 visas we talked about?
Yeah.
It just doesn't reflect the reality of today's global economy
Right.
or the demand for skilled workers in AI and other STEM fields.
Right. It's like we're trying to fill a swimming pool with a teaspoon.
Exactly. We need to increase that cap to a number that makes sense.
Yeah, make the pipeline a little bit bigger.
Exactly.
But increasing the cap is just one piece of the puzzle, right?
Right. The application process itself needs a major overhaul.
Okay.
It's often criticized for being bureaucratic.
Time consuming, unpredictable.
Right.
It creates all this uncertainty for everyone involved.
So that makes it less appealing
Absolutely.
when other countries are offering a simpler path.
Exactly.
So we need to make the rules clear,
Yes.
predictable, and send a message that we value global contributions.
Exactly. We want you here, and we're going to make it as easy as possible for you to contribute your talents.
But attracting talent is only the first step.
Right.
We also need to make sure they can thrive once they get here.
Absolutely. And that's where supporting STEM education for immigrants comes in.
Okay.
We have an amazing education system here.
Yeah.
But access to it can be challenging,
Right.
especially for immigrants who might be facing financial constraints or language barriers.
So we need to create more opportunities
Yes.
and remove those barriers to entry.
This could involve things like expanding scholarship programs, developing mentorship initiatives, specifically for immigrant students,
Yeah.
providing language support.
Connecting them with industry professionals and research opportunities.
So investing in that talent pipeline from an early stage.
Exactly. Because the more we invest in developing STEM talent,
Right.
regardless of background,
Yeah.
the stronger our position will be in the long run.
But it goes beyond education, too.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's about creating a sense of belonging
Right.
and inclusion for immigrants.
So how do we cultivate that kind of inclusive culture?
Well, there are a number of things we can do. We can promote cultural exchange programs
Okay.
where people from different backgrounds can share their experiences and perspectives.
That sounds good.
We can support immigrant-owned businesses
Right.
and, of course, advocate for policies that protect the rights and well-being of all immigrants.
So making sure everyone feels welcome and respected,
Exactly.
regardless of their background.
It's not just a moral imperative. It's also smart from an economic standpoint.
So the more inclusive we are, the more we'll attract global talent,
Yes.
and the stronger our position will be.
It's a win-win for everyone.
So it seems clear that the future of U.S. AI dominance is really tied to our ability to attract and retain global talent.
Absolutely.
And that means making some fundamental changes to the way we approach immigration.
It's about recognizing the value of diversity and creating a truly welcoming environment.
Remembering that the U.S. has always been a nation built by immigrants.
That's right. Our strength lies in our ability to harness the talents and contributions of people from all over the world.
And American ingenuity is often fueled by those global perspectives.
Exactly.
So we'll be right back
Okay.
to continue our discussion.
Sounds good. So before the break, we were talking about the role immigrants play in shaping the American AI landscape and the challenges posed by some of the current U.S. policies and this potential for other nations like Canada to really attract this valuable talent.
Yeah, and it feels like the U.S. might be losing its edge if it doesn't adapt. But before we get too focused on the challenges, I did want to highlight an example from the article that really shows this power of global collaboration in AI.
You're talking about OpenAI, right?
Yeah.
The research lab responsible for those groundbreaking advancements in AI, including the language model GPT-3.
Exactly. And their work often features contributions from all over the world.
It really is a testament to how international collaboration can lead to those remarkable breakthroughs.
Yeah, like a global brain trust coming together.
The best minds working in unison to push the boundaries.
Exactly. And this collaborative spirit isn't just in research labs, it's in the entrepreneurial world, too.
Oh, absolutely. The article highlights the impact immigrants have had on the U.S. startup ecosystem.
Yeah, they're often leading the way, founding companies that are really pushing those limits of AI applications.
We already mentioned a couple of examples like Lyft,
Right.
the ride-sharing giant,
Yeah.
and UiPath,
Mm-hmm.
the leader in robotic process automation, both founded by immigrants and both using AI to disrupt their respective industries.
And data from the National Foundation for American Policy actually shows that a significant number of AI-centric companies in the U.S. have been founded by immigrants.
It's incredible when you think about it.
Yeah, it's not just a few isolated incidents, it's a trend.
It speaks volumes about the entrepreneurial spirit and innovative drive that immigrants bring.
Yeah, like this perfect recipe for innovation. You combine brilliant minds from diverse backgrounds with this supportive ecosystem, and you see these groundbreaking companies emerge.
Exactly. Fresh perspectives, a global outlook, and, of course, technical prowess.
It's amazing. And I think speaking of unique perspectives, we should circle back to the author of this article.
Sultan Ramakrishnan,
Yeah,
an immigrant himself who navigated the U.S. immigration system.
right. And made all these contributions to the AI field.
It's one thing to analyze data and report on trends, but it's another thing entirely to hear from someone who's lived this experience.
Yeah, it really adds this human element to the conversation.
It reminds us that these policies have real-world consequences.
Exactly. And his journey really underscores the incredible potential that immigrants bring to the table.
And his story also highlights how those contributions extend beyond just the technical side of things.
Right.
He's founded organizations that bridge technology, human rights, and immigrant communities.
So using his expertise for social good.
It's a powerful reminder that AI development isn't just about algorithms and code. It's about people and the impact these technologies have on society as a whole.
So fostering an inclusive environment that welcomes diverse perspectives is really crucial.
It helps ensure that AI is developed and used in a way that benefits all of society.
Okay, so we've explored the challenges. We've celebrated some successes.
Right.
We've heard the personal stories.
Yeah.
Now let's focus on solutions.
Okay.
What can be done to keep the U.S. at the forefront of AI while creating a more welcoming environment for global talent?
Well, the article suggests a few key strategies, and they all center around creating a more streamlined, supportive, and predictable immigration system.
Right.
One that recognizes the value of global talent and makes it easier for skilled professionals to come here and contribute.
So how do we achieve that goal?
Reforming the H1B Visa Program is a big one.
Okay.
That cap of 85,000 visas we talked about,
Yeah.
it just doesn't cut it.
Right.
We need to increase it to a number that reflects the actual demand.
Make the pipeline bigger.
Exactly. But increasing the cap is just one piece of the puzzle.
What else?
The application process itself needs to be simplified.
Okay.
It's too bureaucratic, time-consuming, unpredictable.
Yeah. It creates so much uncertainty.
It does,
Yeah.
and it makes the U.S. less attractive when other countries offer a simpler path.
So we need clear rules,
Yes.
predictable processes,
Mm-hmm.
and just make it clear that we value these contributions.
Exactly. Say, we want you here, and we're going to make it as easy as possible for you to join us.
But attracting talent is only the first step.
Right. We need to make sure they can thrive once they get here.
So what can we do?
Supporting STEM education for immigrants is crucial. We have a world-class education system, but access can be challenging.
Especially for immigrants facing financial constraints or language barriers.
Exactly. So we need to create more opportunities, remove those barriers, and foster a more inclusive learning environment.
So expand scholarship programs,
Yes.
develop mentorship initiatives, provide language support,
Be good.
and connect them with industry professionals and research opportunities.
Invest in that talent pipeline from an early stage.
Because the more we invest in developing STEM talent,
Regardless of background.
the stronger our position will be.
Exactly.
But it goes beyond education,
Oh,
too.
absolutely. It's about creating a sense of belonging
Right.
and inclusion for immigrants in the U.S.
How do we cultivate that kind of inclusive culture?
Well, we can promote cultural exchange programs
That's right.
where people from different backgrounds can connect and share their experiences.
I like that.
We can support immigrant-owned businesses and advocate for policies that protect the rights and well-being of all immigrants.
So creating a society where everyone feels welcome and respected.
Exactly. And that's not just the right thing to do. It's also smart from an economic perspective.
So the more inclusive we are, the more global talent we attract.
Precisely. And the stronger our position becomes. It's a win-win.
It sounds like it.
It really is.
So to sum up this part of our deep dive, it seems like the future of U.S. AI dominance is closely tied to its ability to attract and retain global talent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that requires more than just tweaking a few policies.
Right.
It demands a fundamental shift in mindset, embracing the value of diversity and creating a truly welcoming and inclusive environment for immigrants.
Remembering that the U.S. has always been a nation built by immigrants.
That's right.
And its strength lies in harnessing the talents of people from all over the world.
American ingenuity is often fueled by global perspectives.
We'll be right back to wrap up our deep dive into this fascinating topic. And we're back for the final part of our deep dive. We've been talking about this crucial link between immigration and keeping the U.S. on top in the world of AI.
And what's become pretty clear is this isn't just an American issue.
Right.
This is global.
Yeah.
Talent goes where it's welcomed and supported.
Makes sense.
So the choices we make today, not just in the U.S., but everywhere, will shape where those AI breakthroughs happen next.
It's like a reverse brain drain.
Exactly. Instead of talent leaving, it's about who can attract it.
Yeah, it really is this competition for the best minds out there.
And that's why this whole conversation about immigration and AI is so important.
Right. It's not just about economics or who's number one.
It's about shaping the future of technology and how it impacts all of us.
So we've talked about solutions like reforming the H1B Visa Program, supporting STEM education for immigrants.
Right, making it more welcoming overall.
But there's one more piece I think we need to dig into.
Okay, what's that?
Ethics.
Ah, yes. The ethical side of AI development.
Because it's easy to get caught up in the race for the latest and greatest.
Absolutely.
But we need diverse voices making sure AI is used for good.
Couldn't agree more. AI has incredible potential.
Right.
But it could also be misused if we're not careful.
And that's where immigrant contributions are even more important.
They bring different experiences, different ways of thinking,
Exactly.
which helps make sure AI benefits everyone, not just a select few.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
AI is already in healthcare finance.
Criminal justice, even transportation?
These are things that affect people's lives.
Big time.
So we have to have different viewpoints shaping how it's designed.
It needs to be fair, unbiased, and not make existing inequalities worse.
So it's not just who's building AI,
Right.
but what values get built in.
Exactly. And this is why the immigration and AI conversation can't just be about economics.
It's bigger than that.
It's about ethics.
Yeah.
It's about social impact. It's about making sure AI helps humanity, not divides it.
So for our listeners, why should they care about this connection?
Because it affects the kind of world we're making. Do we want a world where AI is controlled by a tiny group? Or one where lots of different people contribute, making sure it benefits everyone?
The decisions being made right now will determine that.
They really will, and it affects the job market, the economy, even politics. The countries that attract the best AI talent will have a huge advantage.
And don't forget about the types of technology we create.
Right.
Do we want AI that reflects just one group's values, or AI shaped by all of human experience?
Those are the questions we got to be asking ourselves.
Big questions indeed, and no easy answers, but I hope this deep dive has given you all something to think about.
And maybe inspired you to learn more.
Because this issue is always evolving.
Constantly changing.
So as you go about your day, think about this. What role should immigration play in AI's future?
What ethical things do we need to address?
How do we make sure AI is a force for good in the world?
Keep those questions in mind. Keep challenging those assumptions and keep talking about it, because that's how we shape a better future with AI.
And that's a wrap for our deep dive this week. Thanks for joining us.